Would you support deliberating on the decriminalization of homelessness? Yes or no?
Homeless are not criminals. Criminals exist within the homeless population, but being homeless is not a crime.
Great, that's a yes then. How about changes in the camping ordinance?
I have a statement for that.
Okay, so that's a maybe.
No, that's not what I said.
Well,
I have a statement for
I'm
that.
asking you a yes or no question. Would you agree to consider and support changes in the homeless?
I agree to selective softening of camping ordinance, but the problem can finally be solved only by encouraging and assisting homeless communities into housing.
Okay, how about yes or no? Creating increased access to public restrooms.
Absolutely.
That's a yes. And then provision of a public locker system.
Absolutely.
Government-provided locker system.
Lockers are not a problem or that heavy a burden on the taxpayers.
Okay.
Okay, that's a little tense right there. Hold on a second. Okay, so Chad has been working with the city council for the last 3 or 4 months, and one of the final decisions that the city council was to come back to the camping ordinance in September. And they have a spectrum of options. What Chad would like to see is a full 2-hour extension of the camping ordinance. But, you know, it's either no change, 2 hours, or 1 hour in the evening. And my question is simply, which one of those would you support? So, as the camping ordinance stands, is 9:30 p.m. to 6:30 a.m. What Chad would want to see is that move from 9:30 to 8:30 p.m. and then from 6:30 to 7:30 a.m. Or there's no change, or the last option with all the other things that we're working on is just to give that extra hour in the evening to move it to 8:30 p.m.
Given daylight savings time and the use of the park by the other citizens, it poses a problem to give them the extra hour in the evenings. With the lockers, there is no need to give them the extra hour.
Okay, thank you very much. So, no, Andy. So do we need to restate the question?
No, I didn't
Okay.
know if...
No, I think we can just allow you to say what you're for and against.
Okay, so I oppose punishing people for eating, sleeping, camping when no alternative spaces are available. I also oppose punishing others who provide food, shelter, and assistance for those. I propose adding the additional hour in the evening up to the 8:30 line. I propose adding a restroom at Sculpture Park using C-Tran funding, and I'll continue to support more solutions for public restrooms open 24/7. We also have been working for how many months, time and time again, working on the whole hour of personal locker systems and the storage of that, not just for their clothing and mementos, but all of their personal identification and documentation that they need.
Thank you very much.
Yes, 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 and yes.
So my follow-up, I guess, do you support the full extension of 2 hours or just 1 hour?
Until we've got another answer, yes. I think we have to. We owe it to them as human beings. We need to work towards permanent housing solutions and not use this as an excuse to push it off, that we've solved a problem or something. But until we've got a handle on this, and yeah.
So, would you be supportive of deliberating decriminalization of homelessness?
Oh, absolutely.
And how about changes in the camping ordinance?
As far as the camping ordinance, I would be interested in moving the morning time to like 8 a.m., but I think the 9:30 evening time seems like a pretty good idea as far as just things kind of seem to settle down in Vancouver at that time, so I think moving that up would possibly cause more conflicts.
And then creating increased access to public restrooms
Yes, if I might, you can visit my website, I have a whole thing on that.
and provisions of a public locker system.
Yeah, I would think as long as that was somehow connected with like a group like Share, so if someone was able to manage the whole idea of things being locked up, because I could see that could really become a problem with keys or however the system works, so.
Okay, thank you. You answered my follow-up. So yeah,
Decriminalization.
decriminalization?
Yes.
Changes in camping ordinance?
It's 8:30 p.m., yes, but the morning we have to ask probably local business owners what their thoughts are before I would give a yes or no on that. The PM one, yes, but the AM one, wait till we get more data, what the local business owners say.
And how about increased access to public restrooms?
Yes,
And provision of public locker system?
yes.
So I'm curious, as a follow-up, do you only want to consult business owners for one part of the day, but not the other?
Because most businesses close at around like nighttime, around time anyway, as he said, but morning, basically you want to ask them just to make sure, because that's when they're opening the doors up, customers are starting to come in. So you want to basically ask them, hey, is this going to, because you don't want to bite the hand that feeds you exactly. So if you have less sales because of that, and I was actually talking to, at the last chapter that I went to, there's a homeless person named Jake I was talking to. He was in favor of basically keeping the homeless ordinance where it's at right now.
But what I'm asking you is, why wouldn't you talk to businesses who are open till midnight? And there are lots of downtown restaurants and bars and whatnot. Wouldn't you talk to them about that end of the day?
That is a good question. I would say basically if it's nighttime, dark outside, it's a little harder. Because basically, obviously, long-term solutions create living wage jobs so you get them out of homelessness. But in the meantime, definitely if it's dark outside, it's harder to see them, it's homeless people. So pretty much, you don't want to bite the hand that feeds you. So if you have less sales because of homelessness, then that's less money for problem, less money for ways to fund solutions to these problems that we want.
Okay, thanks. How about decriminalization of homelessness? Are you in favor of that?
I'm in favor of all of these.
Of all of them? Okay.
Big camping ordinance, the 2 hours, no change, or 1 hour?
2 hours would be, the way that I see it at this point, while we're working on a more permanent solution, it is difficult enough being in this situation and being given all of these restrictions on just wanting to settle down for the night that seems like a lack of passion to me.
For business or for homeless?
For the homeless community.
Okay.
And I generally agree with all of them, but here's the real issue. It doesn't solve the problem. None of it does. City council spends a lot of time on items like the sidetrack from working on the long-term solutions. As I've been out in the community, I've heard a lot of discontent towards our homeless brothers and sisters, and it really bothers me. We need more beds in Clark County. That's no secret, and that's no surprise. I will work to get more beds in our community so we can get our homeless off the street and give them the dignity and a place to sleep, warm food to eat, and access to the services that can help them change their situation. That is my goal.
I guess my question is this. You said it doesn't solve the problem, but when we say that, we kind of curtail a little bit, and those small changes in the interim to getting to those problem solving, I mean, it kind of sets a tone. So I know that you're genuinely in favor, but do you also agree that the small changes kind of add up to that overall morale of a city, making this a city for everyone? And this is in no way a judgment on your character or anything, but you know, before we can start, I mean, we have plans for a day center now, but what are plans for a day center now doing for people who are living on the streets now? So I think decriminalizing, and I'm not getting on the soapbox here, but like small acts like decriminalizing, having more public restrooms, providing public storage, Do you feel like those may be contributing to an overall better morale for everyone really in the city?
Well, again, my opening statement was, I generally agree with all those things.
Okay.
But let's really focus on the big picture. Let's fix the problem.
So yes, and I'm on record of supporting the decriminalization of homelessness. Changes in the camping ordinance, we just modified the camping ordinance in, I believe, 2015. Before, it was absolutely illegal to camp at any time, to sit, lie, or sleep. That does have an impact because it isn't in parks. That is the problem. It's actually illegal to camp in parks. It's in front of
This is the
streets.
yes or no part of your question.
It is, but you're gonna come back and ask me, so.
Right.
And with provisions on that one. The third one is the public locker system, absolutely, and increased access to public restrooms. Yes, we need that like today.
And now you
Yesterday.
have 30 seconds left, so would you like to expand?
Which portion would you like me to expand on?
Well, talk about the camping ordinance again.
So when we made the changes, it was hugely controversial with the business community, residents that were afraid that people would be sleeping in front of their houses on city streets. So it has to be city property. So part of that was looking at what time do the employees go to work in the morning and what time do businesses close downtown. And so that was really the focus with the hours that we set, with the argument that with inclement weather, if we can get a policy in place that will take care of that, if we can get a day center in place, then people have a place to go during the day.
Just a quick follow-up because we have a pretty good relationship working together. I guess my question is this: how important do you think it is, as far as an educational standpoint, for folks who may take the approach that they don't want these kinds of things near their neighborhood? Yeah, a common term that is used is NIMBY, which is not my neighborhood. Well, how important do you think it is to educate along with making these changes so that we don't get the backlash that we so commonly get when we just open the conversation?
I think it's incredibly important in forums like this that have the definitions in your pamphlet and we're talking openly about the issue. I live in the Hope neighborhood, which I think I'm less than 10 blocks from Share House. And from my perspective, what occurred around Share House with the encampments, the way that the sanitation and health issues that arose were not positive. And I think that perpetuates people's fear of the homeless community. And so I want to make sure when we do it, we're doing it in a very constructive way that will have a long-term benefit not only to our citizens, but to our homeless neighbors.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you get memorized yet? It's only been read 12 times.
I think that it's not a crime to be homeless. That's kind of ridiculous. Also, with the camping ordinances, I think maybe we should meet in the middle with the businesses. But like Scott said, it's not going to fix the problem. You know, where are these people going to go? They need a spot to camp. I think the city needs to allocate a property where these people can go, where they can camp, where they can have access to public transportation. Maybe we can put a bathroom there. Maybe we can put Wi-Fi there. You know, give them a place where they can be, where they're not going to cause a problem.
So, changes in the camping ordinance, yes or no? I lost you.
Yeah, I would be in favor of the hour. I think that we should be all meet in the middle. I think that would give more time.
And then creating increased access to public restrooms with Wi-Fi?
Yeah, and actually, I asked the city if they'd be okay with putting porta potties down there, and they said they already did that. They were vandalized.
And how about provision of a public locker system, yes or no?
Yeah, that would be a good idea.
All right, thank you.
Just as a follow-up, we talk online a lot, and something that you talked to me about was that you came and you know poverty very well. How important do you think these changes are in the mindset of someone living in poverty, making the city more accessible to them? What do you think they think with these changes?
Well, it's very important for these people that don't have that access. And yes, I have been homeless as a child and as an adult. And anybody can go there and anybody can get out of it. And that's a beautiful thing. But we need to have compassion for these people. But we do have to understand that there is private property issues. You can't be violating somebody's private property. As Alishia said, as long as you're on city property or on parks, that's reasonable, but when you're sleeping in somebody's yard, that's not reasonable. So we need to find an issue or a way to fix these with proper solutions, and these are partial fixes.
Thank you.
All right. I've testified before City Council to get additional 2 hours added to the camping ordinance.
So that's a yes. And decriminalization of homelessness.
I'll get it done. My proposed container communities would have both public restrooms and lockers, and we need to be actively working towards decriminalizing. Definitely, because nobody, you're not just a criminal just because you don't have a home to live in. You're a criminal because you break the law. It's pretty simple. You laid out in our Declaration of Independence that we have life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and these people deserve that just as much as anyone else.
You were sitting next to me, actually your father was sitting next to me when we testified at City Hall. If you had to rank these as far as decriminalization, public restrooms, public locker system, and the camping ordinance, how would you rank them?
Well, I'd say probably,
what would be
honestly,
the top priority?
I'd put them in the order that they're in the question: decriminalization, changing the camping ordinance, public restrooms, and lockers.
Thank you very much.
Decriminalization, definitely fragile people who run into problems shouldn't be penalized and make their life even more fragile. So I would be in support of that. Camping, I think we've been leader in our community, in our state, as with the camping ordinance. I want to keep the hours the same. Restrooms, I gotta tell you, when I'm out running around the city, I need a restroom. It shouldn't be a topic that's connected just to homelessness. That's just something that our community needs to have. And then the last thing, lockers. I was involved in a conversation yesterday at City Hall about helping the homeless. And I'm not sure we know what the homeless want to do with lockers. I think are we asking the homeless about how they want to solve these issues, or are we all just assuming we know best? And I think there needs to be more conversation with them.
So to follow up on that task force that you attended, and I wasn't there, there are a bunch of folks with CHAP, with Food with Friends, with a bunch of organizations that do street outreach, including Spinelli right here. And that's a large part of the conversation. What would make your life better? And I think one of the consistent things that they say is, I don't want my stuff to get stolen when I have to go to these appointments. So they worry about the security of their things. But one thing I want to hit on is, we went to City Hall twice, CHAP. One time the meeting was very much for the changes in the camping ordinance, and then the next meeting was very much against. And we had a lot of community that were for, but particularly business community was very much against any changes in the camping ordinance. As a city council member, how do you really bridge the gap and get some kind of compromise there?
I think you're painting the business community with too broad a brush. I would not say the business community is against the homeless. I wouldn't say that they were testifying against them. They were talking about when they wanted to open their store businesses and how much time they had to clean up after. If there was some kind of a mess, how much time they'd have to clean up so they could open their business at a reasonable hour. Our business community supports the homeless. We raise a lot of money. We bring in sales, we increase sales tax, we support the community. And I think if you go to any kind of an event, you see business supporting those in need. And I just think we need to not paint a broad brush that business is against homelessness.
Thank you.
Thank you, Linda.
Do you want to ask me? Do you want to ask
Sure.
me? I just want to react quickly.
The City Council is currently deliberating on the decriminalization of homelessness. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
And how about changes in the camping ordinance? What changes would you agree with?
I would agree with the 2-hour change, ideally.
Okay. Creating increased access to public restrooms, as Linda is proposing?
Yes, and that is actually in follow-up with the solutions that I'm actively working towards.
Okay. And the public locker system?
That is in tangent with the public restroom buildings.